Alright. Welcome back to our last crusade, or the rise of a new world. Anime review, episode number 14. We are here reviewing the 22nd episode of the series, Reclaim the World Rises, which also happens to be the third to last episode of season 2. Yep, there's officially two more to go after this, and that's it. Yeah, this will wrap up in 2 weeks. I can't confirm that. Unless, of course, they decide to, next week, do a double feature. That depends upon Crunchyroll. So, in this episode, which I looked up basically what this episode adapted from. Yeah, you're thinking, wait, you mentioned now about this? Well, I was curious. So, this episode covered the prologue, the first chapter, and the intermission of book number 8. Yes, believe it or not, there are 8 books in to the adaptation process. And, yeah, last episode finished up the adaptation of book 7. Which, if you're really curious, like, what episode was it that that officially started the adaptation of the season, like of book 7. Book 7's adaptation started with episode 7. Went on for 3 episodes. Yep. But the season actually started with adapting book 5 of the books. Yes, that's where it started with. And they pretty much in the way covered book 5 in just 3 episodes. I believe so. Because with episode 4, that's when they started adapting book number 6. And that 4th episode was when the show decided to go on a 10-month hiatus. And now we're on book 8. Yep, book 8. So in this episode, we deal with the aftermath of the previous few episodes, where everything is slowly get back control. Alice is basically indirectly named the acting queen due to Elatier not being there, Sisbel missing, and she's obviously the acting queen, given the fact that the current queen can't assume her role because she's injured. So she recovers, and of course Alice visits her after, speaks to Renee about their plan. So then she meets with Talisman later on. By the way, Talisman's basically behind the events of the last few episodes. Yep. So Alice, after basically she confesses to her mother that Hydra is responsible for this whole fiasco and why the 8 disciples decided to infiltrate the actual palace itself. And also the fact Elatier is a traitor, which of course apparently her mother has suspected for a while but had no proof. Hydra basically she's suspicious of, but her eldest daughter, yeah, she had inklings about it for quite a while. So then of course we also have Hydra, of course. Now Elatier apparently is held supposedly prisoner by the Imperial Army in this open wilderness area. But apparently she kept her cell phone. Yes, she kept her cell phone. They refer to it as a communication device. Well, that's what Talos refer to it as. I refer to it as a freaking smartphone, because that's basically what it is. After talking to him for a bit, we do see a flashback of how Elatier kind of got where she is. So her mother didn't think much of her because she had much of her talent when it comes, from what I can tell. It seems like she had no actual power, despite the fact she was the daughter of the queen. Then she apparently got captured by the Empire, where she got experimented upon, and basically she was. Now, they kind of hinted this because it was scarring her on her right breast, that she is in fact Subject E, this experiment that apparently one of the rise of the Empire basic was involved with, about which she's briefly seen in present day with one of the other disciples, even though she's ordered to return back to the Emperor, who is briefly seen in the episode. And in the case of what happened with Iska, well, he's seen in a handful of scenes in this episode. Well, first scene with, of course, the maids from the vacation home, where they go to a safe house, which, of course, basically they'll go to separate rooms, and then basically Rin, yes, Rin, after she decides to after basically watching the stuff, she basically goes to the safe house where she accidentally calls Iska, calls the Imperial Swordsman, refuses to call him by his actual name, and proceeds to walk in on him when he just came out of the shower. She proceeds to hit him with her suitcase, and he's like, "Well, I just came out of the shower. Let me get dressed." And the fact that she probably saw him fully nude, which I would not be surprised. Basically, I mean, she's probably the first woman to see him butt naked. Yes. Even though I'm sure that Sispa wanted to be the one to do this, or probably even Alice. That would have been something. So, then they chat, of course, then she falls asleep because she's tired because she hasn't slept for 2 days. Then Alice arrives, the acting queen, and she falls asleep, and Iska, well, we had this little meeting, and talks to everybody, he'll hurry up. And then she oh, maybe we're in sleeping here. No, then she finds Alice on the floor where she's falling asleep, and she gets on top of Iska. Rin, of course, basically once again gets the wrong idea, but she's able to sort it out, no problem. And they plan basically what they want to do from that point forward. And that's kind of the episode in a nutshell. It's an really good episode, and we have 2 more left to go. And then we're done. Yep. But yeah, that's the episode of the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Excuse me. Next up, Comic Corner. And it's on to the Apothecary Diaries. Okay? See you. Bye.